Chuck Blair here. Great to have you joining me this morning as we continue on with the story of Noah and the ark. And we're looking at this, if you're joining us for the first time, we're looking at this poetically. Like, what does this story have to tell us? Sort of as a beautiful metaphor. And I love the line, which I've used in here before, that a myth is not true because it happened. A myth is true because it happens over and over again. And that's where we can look at this story and just, yeah, we don't look at the truth like this happened. We look at the truth. Yeah, this happens over and over again in our lives. And then what's the meaning that has for us? So what I want to start with here, folks, is this beautiful image, right? So the rain starts at the point, that's the point where we are in the story. The rain start, we're going to see 40 days and 40 nights of rain. And the rain's coming down and Noah's going into the ark, Noah and his family. So something's coming down, something's coming in. The storm is starting and something's arriving. And what is that? Okay, here's the storm. What is that something that's arriving? And how might we picture that? And in a fascinating piece of biblical commentary, Emmanuel Swedenborg asks us to picture that as love coming in, this love coming into the center of this deep storm. And again, you think of the scale of the boat, you think of the scale of the storm, you think of the scale of everything else. This would have been a small little part. This is all happening, and then there's this small little part that's starting to enter, which I find that to be a really powerful picture. And what does that all mean, folks? Well, here's just a couple of passages that talk about that. And here, from a Christian New Church perspective, anytime you hear the word the church, it's talking about an institution, right? A spiritual institution, not a physical institution, but it's a thing, as well as something that we all possess. So there is a such thing as the church, and there is a such thing as the church within us and the church outside of us. And it's really addressing both here. And it addresses both with this line, that the all in all of the church is love. Ooh, big stuff. The totality, it symbolizes love or charity. That is the totality of the church. So love is the totality of the church. It's the all in all of the church. Now, notice what it's not saying there. It's not saying doctrine's the all in all. It's not saying a certain creedal belief is the all in all, even though those things can be important. It's saying love is really the name of the game with all of this. Again, I want to say that love is the name of the game. Now, it is so easy with love, and this is a sort of a forever temptation, I think, in humanity, is to saccharinize. How's that page for a word? Saccharinize, to make something saccharine sweet, to make love that way, to just make it as kind of a saccharine thing, like it's just love, 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 love. And there are times for that, right? There are times for that. But I think true love, as I understand it, when it arrives in these storm times, is just a far, far, far different kind of love than just simple warm wishes or warm fuzzies or whatever. And here I want to share with you a beautiful quote. This is from Thomas Merton. And listen to this carefully. I think this is so important. I'm going to ask you to join me just taking a breath so we can really all hear it together. So let's all get a breath. And here's the line. Hatred does not have to take account of the subtle realities of life in the same way that love does. Boy, that is a big line. Let me read that again. Hatred does not have to take account of the subtle realities of life the same way that love does. That, I think, speaks to, again, storms coming down, love's coming in. I think that speaks to the kind of love we're talking about here. Love in the midst of storms, where we are always tempted to lash out in anger, but love in the midst of storms is very able to take care and to take note of the subtle realities of life. In other words, in one sense, it makes life much simpler, but in another, not, because love is really able to pull all the nuances of these different things. Imagine, being within a strained relationship or strained relationships. Hatred is such an easy decision because it makes it very simple. As one person famously said, this, I should preach on this every 2 weeks, actually, because it's so important. It's very easy to draw the line of right and wrong, moral, immoral, between myself and the other person, right? It's real easy to do that, or ourselves and the other person. And love doesn't do that. What love does is love draws the moral line right down the middle of all of us, that we have good and bad, and that they have good and bad. And that creates this ability to have compassion. So that love is able to go into the midst of the storm, to settle there in the midst of the storm, and to have the nuanced understanding that avoids the simple judgments that we're all prone to, of good person, bad person, good person. We're constantly sorting them out that way. Of course, it doesn't mean some people aren't doing bad things, or some people haven't done hurtful things, and it doesn't abrogate the need for accountability and responsibility. What it is this promotion of the concept of subtlety and nuance. And love can do that in a way hatred just can't. Like, think of the most hateful people you know. They're not subtle and they're not nuanced at all. And think about yourself when you're in that real, like, aggrieved state. You're not subtle, you're not nuanced at all, and neither am I. But love is much softer and much gentler, and therefore it's much stronger. Like, there's a strength in that, and we may not even feel like it's a strength, because it's so far away from winning and much more about understanding. uh but I don't know, it just seems so important to say that. I think Merton's really nailed it with that quote. And that's why we need love to be at the center of the ark, quote unquote, as we're about to set sail into these very dire storms of life. And it doesn't mean it all turns out right, but it does mean that we will remain intact as human beings, intact around the better angels of our nature, the better people, that are the best intentions that live within inside all of us. So, folks, that's the thought for today. And I'm just going to read you the quote one more time, because that's sort of our takeaway. Hatred does not have to take account of the subtle realities of life in the same way that love does. In other words, put love at the center and allow it to take account of those subtle realities of life. I mean, there's the call to action right there, because life is subtle, it's nuanced, it's hard, and I always remember this: it's good. It's good. So with that, friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing. For those of you joining us the first time, we do hop on New Church Live's Facebook page, and we do a little live commentary there. Again, the vast 95+% of our audience joins us archived. You're more than welcome to leave a comment later in the day or later in the week, as well as comment on several other services. That is totally fine. And, I try to get to those comments in as rapid a pace as I can. So with that, friends, let's do a little meditation. So let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, folks. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a little commentary. So again, you can throw something on to New Church Live's Facebook page and offer a little comment on that. And let's go ahead and get started here. Teresa, good to see you, Teresa. And that was a very fun gathering we had yesterday. Good stuff. Linda, good morning to you, my friend. Martha, good morning. Hope Michigan's going great as always. Patricia, good morning to you. Marcus, good morning. I hope you have a great day, buddy. Linda writes, love is the name of the game. True love is a safe harbor in the midst of a storm. Love is a rudder. It allows us to navigate the gentle and tumultuous times. Love always wins. Have a good weekend. That's well said, Linda. You know, and it's interesting. It's easy, I think, to think that love will somehow save us from the challenges of life. Actually, I think, frankly, I think love makes life a lot more challenging. How does that sound? But it's good. Like, would you rather not have that? Because to love is to risk having a broken heart, and to have a broken heart means that you risk love. I mean, the two go together in so many ways, and that I think is real important to remember, because sometimes it feels like, oh, it'd be great just to not have that all, but that is not true. Sherry, great to have you joining us, and wishing you a happy weekend as well. And a last little shout out from Shannon. Good morning. And boy, Shannon and I, we had a great, some of you were on it actually. We had a great small group last night with lots of really, really beautiful insights from people. So love doing that stuff. All right, friends. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.